Gen Z has done something no other generation has dared to do. They've looked at the housing market, the crown jewel of wealth in Britain and the West, and call it what it really is, a Ponzi scheme. Because the system isn't built to provide homes, it's built to inflate prices, protect wealth, and keep the younger generations locked out. For decades, people have repeated in the same myth: houses always go up in value. But here's the truth: the bricks don't magically become more valuable, the roof doesn't suddenly make you richer. What makes house prices rise is belief. Belief that tomorrow someone will pay you more than they would be willing to pay today. That's the same logic of a Ponzi scheme. Value created not from fundamentals, but from the assumption that prices will always rise because they always have. And of course, governments and the owning class didn't leave this to chance. They built in artificial boosts to keep the scheme alive, such as making planning permission extremely difficult so new homes are scarce, limiting housing supply because if homes are abundant, they'd be less valuable, propping up demand with schemes like Help to Buy, which actually push prices up further. Every policy is designed to keep supply low and demand high, protecting the wealth of those who already own while locking out those who don't. So you ask, who actually benefits from this? The boomers and the owning class. They bought homes when they were cheap, and they spent decades watching the value skyrocket. Not because of hard work, but because the system was rigged in their favour. Now they rely on those inflated prices for their wealth, their retirement, and their sense of success. Which means any policy that might lower house prices, like mass building, is treated as political suicide. The system won't allow housing to be affordable because affordability would mean the bubble pops. For Gen Z, the scam is obvious. They're told to work hard and save, but how do you save when house prices rise faster than wages every single year? They're told renting is throwing away money, but buying is impossible without family wealth or crippling debt. They see the truth older generations ignored. The housing market isn't about shelter, it's about wealth extraction. And they've exposed it for what it really is: a system that survives only by keeping the next generation out. And here's why housing is a Ponzi scheme. Early entrants, like boomers, bought in cheap. Later entrants, millennials, Gen Z, must pay more and more just to join. The system only sustains itself by keeping prices rising forever. But like every Ponzi scheme, someone is left holding the bag, and for the first time, a generation, Gen Z, is refusing to play along. They're not fooled, they see the system as unsustainable, unfair, and destined for collapse. So the uncomfortable truth is this: the housing market is not a ladder, it's a trap. It's not about providing homes, it's about protecting the wealth of those who already have them. Gen Z has pulled back the curtain, they know the emperor has no clothes. The question now is, how long can a society survive when one generation owns everything and the next owns nothing? Because a Ponzi scheme always has the same ending: collapse.